Starts off season 3 dead. Here are some milestones for you. You're dead, you come back to life, the dude that you love's got some crazy clone in his head which hasn't gone, and then he gets cloned himself. Yeah, there's quite a few things that she went through, and I think you can only get away with that in science fiction.
We can have sex if you want.
Officer Aaron Sun, Special Peacekeeper Commando, Icarian Company, Plysar Regiment. Identify yourself.
I've done quite a lot of work in all the various media for actors. I started in a theatre and musical background, and started, I think, the way that I got my first theatrical agent, she heard me singing. And shortly after that, she took me on. I did some commercials, and then what followed was quite a lot of work in television. Didn't do theatre for quite a while, and then when I finally did, it was Merchant of Venice, a tour through Europe. And then back again to television, and over the last few years, it's been a bit of an overlap between film and television only. And this is the third lead female role I've done on a television series. One was filmed in New Zealand. One was in Australia. It was my first sort of big role, my first big break, as they say. That was a nurse, Claire Bonacci, who was sort of a very ditzy girl, very different to the character Erin that I play on Farscape, or played, I should say. And the middle one was a lawyer. So I've always played very interesting roles, but certainly over the last few years, very strong ones. And science fiction certainly seems to be the genre for strong lasses.
I will not come with you.
You've been irreversibly contaminated, remember?
It means death.
It is my duty, my breeding. Since birth, it's what I am.
You can be more.
People, when I went through periods of unemployment, would say, and I've been very fortunate, they haven't been very long, well, it is the life you've chosen for yourself, Claudia. And I say, well, far be it from me to compare myself with someone like Mozart or Beethoven, but I think when you are an artist, I don't think you wake up one morning and say, okay, got to decide today, am I going to build houses or am I going to be a composer? I think there's something innately in you that you need to express. And I think that was very clear to my kindergarten teacher, who cast me in my first lead role. And I did a lot of amateur productions through school, and some semi-professional ones with a brother school of ours that had, it was a very exclusive boys' school, so we were very fortunate to be involved with them. And that's pretty much how I learned to sing and act, treading the boards there at a school. And my parents had a heart attack when I told them that I wanted to pursue it professionally, but they were supportive at the same time. They just knew that it was a very difficult field to get into and to succeed in, but I think they're very proud now, especially with Farscape, because it's something that their friends have seen as well on television. So it's always been something I've wanted to do. I've always loved the music as well. And I can't do anything else. I'm a terrible waitress, so it was acting or nothing.
I was born a peacekeeper soldier. I've always been one among many. Member of a division, a platoon, a unit, a team. I've never been on my own, John. Never been alone. Ever.
I have a lot of passion, sometimes misplaced, and I think, I don't know, if I had to, I've never really had to analyze what drives me. I've just had a love and a passion of the performing arts, partly because of my family background. My grandmother was a performing arts teacher with language and music and theatre, and my parents were very musical, even though Dad was is a massive jazz fan, jazz fanatic, so he gave me a great taste of musical, a great musical education in jazz. And my mum used to play the piano, and so my sister and I both were in a very creative environment when we were growing up. And I suppose where I've come from And what I'm passionate about pretty much propels me forward. And if I found something else that I liked better than performing, I'd do it. I just want to be, whatever I do, I suppose the ethos that I've been brought up with, or what I've carried with me, is the fact that whatever I do, I just want to do it the best that I can. But I've been cursed by being a lazy perfectionist, which is a terrible combination. So I chose the acting because I knew it was something that I couldn't afford to waste other people's time as an actor, so I had to be very diligent. So it's taught me an incredible amount of discipline. And while I'm trying to take everyone else seriously, I'm trying to take myself a little less seriously in the process.
Talon, I want you to share something with me. Before he dies, you can taste something that is denied to peacekeepers. Something that you will never know. Can you feel that? Good. Talon, that is what it is to need someone. You don't need me. You never will.
I've learnt so many things from doing Farscape, partly because I've generally, by my nature, not done many things in my life for more than a year. School was mandatory, so I did that. I learned to be patient. I learned to take risks. And I learned sort of to be a little kinder on myself. I had a lot of support from people, Anthony Simcoe and Ben Browder and Gigi, everyone really, who were the tight-knit group that was the core cast of Farscape. We were all very good to one another, and so I learned that actors can be wonderful. I mean, I've always been drawn to performers, and sometimes you do have those negative experiences where you come across someone who either doesn't take the profession seriously, or they've been spoiled, and we were just blessed. So I learned to love a lot of people on Farscape, and they made it very easy. And technically, I mean, it was the most overwhelming environment to work in, and when a lot of guest actors would come on, we had to remind ourselves that it was new to them and that they were probably overwhelmed when they came on to the sets. There are the animatronic creatures like Rigel and Pilot, 6 people at Rigel's feet to make him work, to bring him into the room, to do the eyes, the ears, the voice, to then be voiced over by another actor. Green screen, practical effects on set, fireworks, bombs going off. It was crazy. So I learned to multitask a bit. And yeah, technically as an actor I've had more time on a set of that kind than a lot of people. So it was an absolute blessing in terms of being a learning ground. We were in a rare situation filming Farscape because we were on the other side of the world, primarily making it for the Sci-Fi Channel and for the BBC and other European territories. And I think because of Australians by nature, we had a tone of irreverence that was threaded through the whole series, which we may not have had elsewhere. And also we were blessed because the Sci-Fi Channel gave us a lot of rope, really. They wanted it to be sassy, they wanted it to be intelligent and sexy and original, and we rose to it, really. And it's now great talking to directors who say that we've changed them and the way that they work, because they're now expecting actors in auditions to come up with suggestions and to have ideas. And a lot of actors in Australia expect to be mollycoddled and to be looked after and have the director give them a lot of attention. And what we learnt on Farscape was to make informed and hopefully intelligent choices on our own, and self-direct in a way, because they had so many other elements to take care of while they were directing, which directors often don't have to deal with. But with CGI and the animatronics and all those sorts of things, we were really fortunate that as actors we were able to make a lot of decisions on our own. But also when we did make suggestions, and the directors would embrace them. And David Kemper pretty much sets the tone of the show as well in that regard, and Ben took over when he was on set, Ben would run the set in a way that was highly collaborative, and it helps when the actors are intelligent. To have a lead actor like Ben, who's generous and bright, makes for a really productive working environment, so we were very lucky.